Hi everyone, welcome back. A person in the comments recently asked me a very important question about um, healthcare, how I paid for healthcare since I retired early. And I thought, this might be a good time to kind of go over everything that I did in making my decision to retire at age 60. It wasn't a snap decision. It was a few months of looking at spreadsheets and research and being very honest about how I spend my money and whether I wanted to sacrifice. It actually started about 4 or 5 years prior to me retiring when I found out at work that at the age of 60, I would be eligible for widow's benefits if I were not married at the time I turned 60. And so I just kind of made a mental note of that and kept it in the back of my mind. And then about 8 or 10 months before I actually retired, I really started thinking about it and started doing a lot of research, went to the Social Security website, read pretty much everything on that website. Started watching a lot of videos. Holly Schmidt and Josh Scanlon and Heritage Wealth Planning, they have excellent videos about retirement. Josh Scanlon really pushes to retire early, and he has a lot of they both have an enormous amount of information on their channels on YouTube. And there's also a lot of other retirement channels that can provide you a lot of information. I called the local Social Security office and spoke with a lady there that was very helpful. And she gave me an estimate of what my benefit amount would be when I'm 60, 62, 65, and 67, and 70. And also what my widow benefits would be at 60, 62, 65, 67, and 70. Now, obviously, I wasn't eligible for my own benefits at age 60, but I could get them at 62. And state retirement, I can retire with full benefits at age 62 if you have at least 7 years of service, I think. So, after I got all that information, I went to work and I built a spreadsheet to track my income all the way out to age 100, assuming a 2.5% cost of living adjustment increase each year. And that math showed me that my time was worth more than a slightly larger check later. The fact is, I'd have to live to be 80 years old before the cumulative benefit would be greater if I retired at 67 than it would be if I retired at 60. So here's what it boils down to. 13 years from 67 to 80 versus 20 years from 60 to 80. And even that cumulative benefit amount the only difference would be about $4,900. So to me, if you figure that up over 20 years, that's not very much. Then, so that was really the defining factor in what really probably made the decision for me. But then I also had other things. I have to think about health care because retiring at 60, you're not eligible for Medicare until age 65. And I knew I wouldn't be eligible for Medicaid because I worked at DHS. So I knew my retirement income was going to be greater than what would be allowable for DHS. So I found out that I could keep my health insurance that I currently had, and my pension would pay for it, and my pension left me about $250 after I paid my premiums. So the only thing left then was to figure out how I was going to make up the difference in what I was earning and what I would be receiving, which was somewhere between, I can't remember exactly, somewhere between $300 and $500. my income currently is tax-free. So I don't have to pay any taxes on it. It's not high enough that any of my Social Security is taxed. But I still had to come up with a way to make up that $300 to $400 difference. I had to become a better steward of my money. And my house payment was only around $375, and that includes taxes and insurance. And because I don't have central heat and air, I use a window unit for my air conditioner and a wall heater for my heating. And then I bought insulated drapes that are in here in this room. I have a lot of windows. So I use insulated drapes that help keep the heat out and help keep the sun from shining in the summer, and it also helps insulate during the winter. A big part of getting ready to retire was paying off my debt. I used the debt snowball that Dave Ramsey talks about on his Total Money Makeover and his programs. So I had a truck that the payment was $425 on, and it was a fairly new truck. And I opted to trade that truck for the payoff in a 1996 Ford Ranger free and clear. So I got my truck paid off, I got my Ford Ranger free and clear. The thing about the Ford Ranger that made it there was kind of a stamp on it that said this is what you should do. And what it was the Ford Ranger was originally sold to the people that I was buying it from through my brother-in-law, who's a car dealer. My dad had originally sold it to them as a used truck way back a long time ago, 20 or 30 years ago. And all his paperwork was still in the envelope. All his deal sheet and everything was still in there. And even the little key fob that has, I don't know if you can see that has all of his writing on it was still in there. And I thought, that's kind of a thing. Maybe Dad's saying, you should do this. This is a good idea. So I did it. I bought the 96 Ford Ranger, and it was very humbling to drive that little 96 Ford Ranger to work in 2018, 19. But I did. And with that, I had an extra $425 in my account that allowed me to pay off all of the debt that I had before I retired, except for my house. Now I do still have a house payment, but I have a very small mortgage on it. And at the time, I had one small loan that I paid off approximately 6 months after I retired. And my son now drives the 1996 Ford Ranger, and I have a 2007 Chevy Suburban. It's paid for, and it's got paint fading, but it's very reliable. It gets me from point A to point B, and I'm not a big traveler anyway, so it's gonna do. Plus the insurance is a lot cheaper. Retiring early didn't require a fortune. It just required a plan and the willingness to live a smaller, more intentional life. I wanted to honor the benefits that my husband earned and make the most of the time I have. Waiting until full retirement age, it just felt like I was leaving money on the table that should have been my husband's. And I just didn't want to do that. So that's my story. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe and make a comment. And let me know how you're doing in your planning, or if you've already retired, how you went about making the decision. I'm sure a lot of people would like to know that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.